All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, as I monitor the interactions amongst these various top NBA players when they're asked questions about LeBron James and his new LA Lakers squad, it's very obvious that they can't wait to play against LeBron James. And Steph Curry especially, he's made no bones about it that he's looking forward to facing the Lakers. And now he's raised the stakes. He's actually calling out the Laker fans now. He's claiming that he knows that the Laker fans are going to start to pop up in Oracle Arena. And he's challenging the Golden State Warrior fans to make sure that they limit the amount of Laker fans that try to invade the Oracle Arena now that the Lakers have LeBron James. So, of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
To the association, my friends, one thing we know is that for the first time in 4 years, Steph Curry won't be facing LeBron James in the NBA Finals this season. But in a recent sit-down interview with the Associated Press, two-time NBA MVP, three-time NBA champion, isn't overlooking the new-look Lakers. Quote, "A whole new-look Laker team with some of the young kids. It should be fun. The Bay Area and LA. And the whole thing, when I first got into the league, Oracle would be buzzing anytime the Lakers came in."
Of course, because when you first came into the league, the Lakers were actually world champions. That's why Oracle was buzzing when the Lakers were coming to town. Now Oracle's going to be buzzing when the Lakers come into town because it's going to be like feeding Christians to the Lions. That's exactly what the relationship is going to be between the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. I mean, to be quite frank with you, the LA Lakers are built to be blown out by the Warriors. They have all the components of a team that's going to be blown out when they face the Warriors. Now, I do think, oddly enough, or at least certain people may think that this is odd based off of what I just stated, that the LA Lakers are going to defeat the Golden State Warriors at least once in the regular season. Because if you pay attention to the last 3 regular seasons, I believe the Lakers have won at least one game against the Warriors the last 3 years. Even the season that the Warriors won 73 games, they lost a game in LA. Why is that? Because as we all know, teams go to LA and they spend the night before the game freaking off at the strip clubs and at the clubs, so on and so forth. So LA is one of those destinations that's very tough for road teams to win, especially if you're in the Western Conference and you're playing there more than once a season. There are certain destinations in the league, everybody knows them, Miami, Atlanta, New York, Toronto, LA, that when teams visit, they're going to have a very rough time winning that game, that road game, because of all the amenities and social options that that city has to offer many of these traveling NBA players.
There probably will be a revolution of Lakers fans that are going to try to creep in to the Bay Area and Dub Nation, and we hope to control that because of the competition, because we're on top right now.
In other words, Steph Curry is basically stating, I'm expecting a bunch of fair-weather Laker fans to be on the uptick, on the upsurge this coming NBA season. Just shout them down as we beat down their team, because that's what he's expecting.
Max, what's he really saying here? What's the agenda?
He's saying the Lakers are going to be whack juice, and we don't want their fans to put a battery in the team's back as we're whooping that ass.
3 things from that revolution with Lakers fans that you can, as you would say, peel from this, Stephen A. 1, LeBron is the man. Steph recognized.
How the hell did you get that from Steph Curry's statements? This is how you know, number 1, that this guy is a LeBron James fanboy. Number 2, he's most likely on the payroll, allegedly.
Is that we all recognize it. He reigns over the NBA. You will dispute that he's.
How could you reign over the NBA when you're not the current champion? It's not possible. Now, if you want to assert that LeBron James is the best individual player in the NBA, I would concur. But I don't think that the distance or the disparity is as vast as you oftentimes like to allege, Max Kellerman.
He's by far the best player. Okay, I think he's by far the best player. But
well, for you to assert that he's by far the best player, it makes it even more glaring that he's unable to take his team to the promised land. So what are you really saying, Max Kellerman?
But when you say he reigns over the NBA, what do you mean?
He's the best player in the world.
Just the player. You're just talking about player.
Undisputed best player.
You're just talking about the player.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
He's also the most famous player in the world. Most famous athlete in the world.
Well, I think that it's disputable that he's the most famous player in the world right now. I think that Steph Curry could definitely give him a run for his money if we're talking about the current crop. And in regards to currently living players who have played in the NBA, Michael Jordan is still more famous than LeBron James. And if we're talking about the most famous athlete in the world, LeBron James does not compare to the most famous soccer players in the world, whether it's Ronaldo or Messi, etc. He just does not compare to the top soccer players.
That's one, LeBron. Two, this is what this statement implicitly recognizes. Implicit, kids, he doesn't have to say it, you can tell. Two, LA is the town. Like Silicon Valley, it's all the money in the world, but LA is the town.
Well, LA is definitely a town. It's one of the major cities in the world, certainly in the United States, but still, even in the United States, New York is the #1 city in the United States. I just don't think that it's as big a deal as you're making it out to be. I think that Steph Curry is assessing the Laker fan base more than the city itself.
In California, maybe in the country. And three,
well, really, Oakland's the town business.
Yeah, right. Three, Lakers are the brand, or is the brand if you want to be a nerd. The Lakers, like Steph recognizes, damn, LeBron is in LA on the Lakers. That means even though we just won 3 out of 4 championships and just smoked everything in our path, at least in the finals, we're going to actually have to hear it at Oracle from Lakers fans. LeBron, LA, and the Lakers, Steph's recognizing.
Well, I think that Steph is actually looking forward to it. He's looking forward to it because he watches ESPN and Fox Sports 1 every day, so he knows that LeBron James has paid agents, sycophants, who are hired to make sure that they promote his movement to the LA Lakers, and that you also do your best to try to make the LA Lakers appear to be a viable option, a viable opponent for the Golden State Warriors. So Steph understands that there's going to be a process where they're going to have to chip away at the facade, the image that you're trying to create for LeBron and the Lakers. And in the process of doing so, he wants to make sure that the Golden State Warrior fan base is there to also shout down the LA Laker fan base, who everyone pretty much knows has one of the biggest bandwagon followings of all professional sports. There's no doubt that the LA Lakers, they're certainly the biggest banner in the NBA. There's no doubt about that. They have the biggest following of any team in the NBA. They are a NBA global brand. And Steph is recognizing that, but he's looking forward to the non-challenge challenge, which is exactly what the Lakers are going to be. They're going to be a very dumb team. They'll be easy to break down over the course of a game, certainly over the course of a series, for a team that plays as intelligently as the Golden State Warriors. And I think that Steph is looking forward to it, like how a champion-level boxer looks forward to a sparring match against a low-level fighter who's been talking shit before he even steps in the ring. It's not even going to be a real fight. It's going to be a sparring match.
What I deduced from this,
Okay, I'm nervous.
is Steph Curry is like, y'all enjoy this.
Agreed, sir.
Have a good time. That's what I deduced from this. Steph Curry sitting back and he's like, I'm not gonna lie, that's listen. He's sitting back. This is what champions do. This is what winners do. Folks want to come at you and they want to talk about how they're gonna hurt your feelings. They're gonna break you. They're gonna break you off something. They're gonna do something to you, and you're like this. All right, no problem. It's no big deal. I'll be waiting. You understand what I'm saying?
Simple as that.
I'll be waiting. And that's what Steph Curry is saying to LeBron and the Lakers. Y'all enjoy the purple and gold. Y'all watch their brand get invigorated. You watch purple and gold everywhere. Hell, they might even give us some trouble during the regular season. They might catch us on an off night.
Thank you, sir. Totally agree, Stephen A. Smith. You're on point with this one as well. I have little doubt that the Lakers will defeat the Golden State Warriors at least once in LA this season. They're going to beat them at least once. They've beaten them at least once the last 3 years, I believe, in LA. Certainly last year and also in 2016. I can't remember if they beat them in 2017 in LA. But they definitely beat them at least once last year in LA, and they beat them in 2016 in LA. So with LeBron James, I would expect them to also defeat the Warriors in LA at least once. I'll put it like this. If the Warriors are able to sweep LeBron James this season, 4 straight regular season games, I think that it's a good possibility, a good probability that the Lakers will go out in the first round of the playoffs in the postseason this year, should they make it. I'm expecting them to make it. I believe that the Lakers are going to finish anywhere between a 3 seed and a 6 seed, so that will most likely mean anywhere between 46 to 53 wins. And depending on where they finish in regards to their seeding, will most likely influence exactly how deep their playoff run is going to last.
It happens. You understand what I'm saying? But ultimately, when the playoffs come around, what you gonna do? And you got to remember something. Who is Steph Curry? He's not he's not the brand that LeBron is.
Notice how Stephen A. Smith constantly stresses the term brand when he talks about LeBron James. Once again, Stephen A. Smith understands what LeBron is actually about. He's about brand building. A lot of this nonsense about social consciousness is all a facade. It's a concoction of Nike Incorporated.
By the way, he's doing his own thing. He's got his own production company doing some big things in Hollywood. His damn self. Not only
so is his wife.
That's right. Well, yeah. He's the one that started a production company, and he's producing that.
All
for
the
her.
cooking
Oh
stuff.
yeah, he's doing her thing. She's doing her thing. It's special.
Of course, because she most likely is Steph Curry's handler. Steph Curry's wife is most likely his MK handler, allegedly.
Here's the deal. Steph Curry might not be LeBron, but he didn't need to be in 3 of the last 4 finals. He didn't need to be that. That's number one. Number two, it's not like he's not the greatest shooter we've ever seen.
It's also not like Steph Curry is not a 2-time NBA regular season MVP. Like, this guy is not just some chop suey somewhere. Steph Curry is also an all-time great NBA player. Certainly top 30 all-time, at the very worst, top 30.
Last time I checked, Steph Curry, a little something. And number 3, here's the deal. When he's sitting there, it's going like this. You remember Kevin Durant in that interview he did to C.J. McCollum? What did he say? Look, listen, stop. Now, that's what I loved about Kevin Durant in that interview. He's like, stop. Y'all got a nice team.
Yeah, he totally sunned C.J. McCollum with his dumb ass. C.J. McCollum sitting there trying to act like he's Brian Gumble or something. And like, dude, you're running a podcast. Stop trying to act as if you really believe the Portland Trail Blazers have a chance of winning the NBA championship. You have New Orleans Pelicans problems. You worried about who the Golden State Warriors picked up in free agency. Like, knock it off.
Team, you know what I'm saying?
Don't do it yourself.
You got a nice team, but be happy with what you have. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a good regular season. You get to the postseason. It ain't like y'all gonna win a championship. Steph Curry didn't say that directly, but that's what he said.
That's exactly what he stated. And when you're an all-time great team, you know when you're in your prime. Right now, all those cats know we're 28, 29, 30 years old. This is our moment right now. They know when they're the best that they're ever going to be. Outside of Iguodala getting a little long in the tooth and Sean Livingston getting a little long in the tooth, they're right where they need to be right now to play their best basketball. They're coming off of 2 straight finals victories. They understand how to play together better than they ever have in the past. They've added arguably the best all-around big man in the NBA prior to him going down with an Achilles tear. I say arguably because I would take Anthony Davis over him. I would most likely also take Joel Embiid over DeMarcus Cousins even before the injury, just because of what Embiid brings defensively. But when you look at how DeMarcus Cousins plays, he was never an explosive athlete before the Achilles tear. So as long as he's able to be properly implemented into the Golden State Warriors offensive scheme, all he does is take them up to a whole other level and give them something that they've never had before, which is a low post presence and a dominant big man, a potentially dominant big man. And I expect him to be dominant because what they're going to ask him to do will be nowhere near to the extent that he was asked to do while he was with Sacramento or with New Orleans. So I expect the Golden State Warriors, barring injury, to win well over 65 games. I think that by accident, if they stay healthy for the entire season, by accident, they could threaten 70 wins. I really do believe that. Now, it would not surprise me if Kerr concocts some level of injury issue for the Golden State Warriors, where maybe Curry has to miss 12 to 15 games and Kevin Durant has to miss anywhere from 7 to 10 games. Curry would miss more because of his injury resume, so of course they would be more cautious with him. But I could still see them threatening anywhere from 65 to 70 wins next season with no problem, barring major injury. I think that the only other team that may threaten them in regards to regular season victories may be the Boston Celtics, maybe the Houston Rockets, if they're able to find a way to make up for the loss of defensive efficiency with the loss of Trevor Ariza. We'll see. But I don't see the Golden State Warriors having any problem next season, and I think they know that this is their moment. This is them in their absolute prime. This is Chicago in '92. This is the LA Lakers in '87. This is the LA Lakers in 2001. This is them at their absolute peak.
He said to all the LeBron lovers out there for the purple and gold. And by the way, that was a beautiful mural that somebody messed up with LeBron looking up at the Laker greats. That was a phenomenal mural. That was special. But Steph Curry's like...
That was a nice mural, but the reason why the LA Laker fans keep tearing down those murals is because LeBron has not done anything for them yet. And in LA, they're not in awe of LeBron James. I've mentioned this already. When you look at all those LA Laker greats on that mural, you have a Kobe Bryant, who I have in my top 15, Magic Johnson, who's number 4 on my list, Kareem, who's number 2 on my list, Wilt Chamberlain, who's number 7 on my list, and Shaquille O'Neal, who's number 8 on my list. So you have 4 guys on that mural who are in the top 10 all time on my list, not even counting LeBron. So the LA Laker fans understand the greatness of the players that have been on their squad. So they know we're not falling for the LeBron James hype here. You have to show and prove here. And of course, to the Laker fans, Kobe is above LeBron. So to them, that's an offense for him to be included on a mural when he's done nothing for their franchise yet. And I don't blame them.
He's like, y'all go ahead, y'all do that. He said, I'm chilling out. Did you see my golf game? My golf swing looks better. He's been working on his golf swing. It looks better. Now I got my endorsement deals going on. I got some commercials to do. I got my wife's cooking shows to do. I'm chilling. Because when it's time. Congrats with that. Because when it's time, the very dude y'all are celebrating, Steph Curry's like, it ain't going down like that.
But
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
One question to both.
That's exactly what he's saying.
That's what he's saying.
When we're talking about iconic franchise, the purple and gold, we're talking about LeBron. Do you think some of that fan base is going to jump ship and now want to become Lakers fans?
No. The Golden State Warriors fans are the fans. Laker fans everywhere.
Yeah, I
Laker
get
fans
that.
everywhere. But you're not going to get new Laker fans.
They will infiltrate Oracle.
Now.
The Lakers fans will
Sure.
and that's what Steph is referring to. And by the way, that's infiltrating Oracle.
Can I say this?
Well, the Laker fans have always traveled. The LA Lakers to the NBA like the Dallas Cowboys are in the NFL. They have a great road following.
Man, let me say this to you. You know what you're missing? Yeah. You might infiltrate Northern California. Once you move to San Fran, you ain't infiltrating Oakland. You not infiltrating Oakland. Not Oaktown. Not Oakland. You heard me. You heard that I stutter? I don't give a damn.
Lakers fans are
I'm sorry. What did I miss?
By the way,
did you show me the Oracle?
he is not going to win a championship with this crew anyway. It's unlikely LeBron will win a championship first year together, even with a super
about year two. About year three.
Let me say this. It's highly unlikely that LeBron James will win a championship on the Lakers, period. But the NBA is going to do whatever they can within their power to make sure that for at least 1 year out of the 4-year contract that LeBron has signed with the Lakers, that he's in an optimal position to really challenge for an NBA title.
But here's the thing. If this crew, LeBron and a bunch of role players, even make some noise,
they're going to make some noise.
Highly likely.
Oh, they're going to make some noise.
And then they add Kawhi Leonard in the offseason, which I also believe is likely. Oh, what then? And you already got fans infiltrating Oracle? What then?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, let me say this, Max Kellerman, since you created that hypothetical scenario. What if Kawhi Leonard decides that he does not want to play with LeBron James? Are you willing to change this narrative on LeBron that all these great players want to flock to play with him? Which was the narrative that has been pushed about LeBron James since he went to Miami, that all these great players want to play with him, when in reality, the only truly great player that has ever wanted to play with LeBron James was his buddy Dwayne Wade. And that's really because they were both struggling in regards to being able to reach the mountaintop, so they came together. There's been no other great player that has sought out LeBron James. None.
I'm not clear. My apologies. My bad. LeBron, even if he had Kyrie, wouldn't beat the Warriors this year. I'm sorry, my bad. Kawhi. LeBron, even if he had Kawhi, would not beat the Golden State Warriors right now. Now, I'm not saying 2 years from now. Right now?
He's going to. Not right now, because you can't just throw it together.
Okay. Next summer?
Once again, LeBron James will be turning 34 years old at the end of this year. When you get 34 and 35, you're tiptoeing towards that cliff, as Max Kellerman would say about Tom Brady. LeBron James, no matter what he's taking, allegedly, he is tiptoeing towards that cliff. All the performance-enhancing drugs do is make you tiptoe towards that cliff a little bit slower. But once you get to 34, 35, 36, that cliff is coming.
Next summer he's good.
Next summer, okay, and I'm still saying they would lose to the Warriors. I'm saying it to you to your face. To your face right there. That's because I mean what I say now.
You need a little courage to say that.
I love it. Because I love it. I love it. Let me say this. It would be interesting, but I think they still lose. Okay, that's number one. Number two.
Let me say this. If Kawhi Leonard does decide to sign with the LA Lakers and team up with LeBron James, they would definitely provide a great storyline for the Golden State Warriors. But I don't think that the NBA should be happy if Kawhi Leonard were to go to LA. I think that the NBA will and certainly should try to do their best to keep Kawhi Leonard in the Eastern Conference, because they have so little star power, like real star power in the Eastern Conference in regards to great players that are leading teams that are viewed as being viable potential NBA championship candidates. You have Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee, but nobody's considering them a viable NBA champion candidate. You have John Wall in Washington, but nobody's thinking about them. You have Kyrie in Boston. Yes, they're getting serious consideration. You have Kawhi in Toronto. They truly need that Chicago Bulls franchise to get itself together. Don't be surprised to see the NBA try to strategically get one of the top stars in the league to go to Chicago. Something like that, but they need that. They need a little bit of talent transplant back over to the Eastern Conference.
Let me tell you something. Oaktown is special. You have got to recognize the Oracle ain't no joke. Now, if you move to San Francisco and get a bit bougie, or maybe. But in Oakland?
What's Steph say?
In Oakland?
Steph's talking about a revolution.
That's it.
Lakers fans.
You know why? Because he remembers.
They're in Oregon. That's in Oakland.
Because he remembers that he arrived at a time when Oakland didn't have anything to cheer about because the Warriors stunk.
Absolutely. That was my point. That's why I stated. That is why Steph Curry said that. When the Lakers used to come into town when he first got in the league, I believe Steph Curry's first season was 2009, 2010. That was when the Lakers had just beaten the Orlando Magic. So, of course, when the Lakers came into town, it was going to be a buzz from the Laker fans. Now, do I expect there to be a Laker fan contingent in the Oracle when the LeBron James-led Lakers come into Oaktown? Absolutely. But it's not going to be anywhere near as prominent. Because to be quite frank with you, the Golden State Warriors right now are NBA royalty. They're American professional sports royalty. They're on the level of the 90s Bulls in regards to the esteem in which they're held at. So no, I don't expect there to be a discernible LA Laker fan contingent in Oracle when LeBron James comes to town, but they will be there. And Steph Curry is just putting the Golden State Warrior fans on notice to shut them down as we shut the team down on the floor.
So the point that he's trying to make, so back then, you had people, they didn't have it. But that ain't going to be the case now.
Your superstar is sitting there going, we just won 3 out of 4.
That's right.
We're lighting the whole world on fire.
All right.
This dude shows up in L.A., he already is admitting the truth. Like, you know what? There's going to be some Lakers fans in Oakland.
The Lakers, listen, this is sacrilegious, blasphemous for me to say, the Lakers are basketball's version of the Cowboys.
Thank you, sir. Ding. Now, when Stephen A. Smith states that the current LA Laker team is the basketball version of the Dallas Cowboys, he's talking about in terms of hype. But when I make that analogy, when I make that correlation, I'm talking about in terms of legacy, in terms of having that great following all across their respective league. But that is certainly a correlation that to me is apropos.
And Yankees.
Yeah, Yankees.
Right?
What I'm saying, all I'm saying to you is this. Oaktown, the Oracle, has nothing to worry. I mean, Steph Curry has nothing to worry about. Nothing.
Time will
Not
tell.
when it comes to the Lakers.
That was fun.
You're gonna see
As long as the Warriors are competing.
When the Lakers play the playoffs in Oracle, if that happens, you think you're not going to see purple and gold at Oracle?
Zip
You will.
it. You guys are very entertaining, but we're done. Up next, some UNC football.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. Steph Curry, I think, is thoroughly looking forward to facing LeBron James this year. I think that many of the prominent players across the league, they get a kick out of beating down LeBron. because they know that he's a lot of hot air. Yes, he's an all-time great player, but there is a very high-level bullshit quality to what he brings to the table. And I also think that many of these prominent players across the league, they watch these debate shows and they chuckle to themselves because I think that they realize that a lot of these guys are on LeBron James' payroll. But anyway, peace.